how it's possible for me to train over 20 hours a week or even more. If I include my stretching routine and core work, which take about 7 hours a week, then for the past 6 years in triathlon, I've been training around 30 hours a week. Before that, when I was only running, it was more closer to 20 hours. Today, you'll follow me through one of my typical days, one that includes about 5 hours of preparation. And along the way, I'll try to answer 4 questions you may have about training a lot, because I think it might be accessible to you as well. Where do you find the time? How do you build the physical capacity? Isn't it a matter of motivation or discipline? And how can you balance it with professional or family life? But first, I know you're desperate for a vintage style intro. This morning, I woke up at 6:30 and had a coffee as soon as I got up. I didn't have breakfast because it will have meant waiting for my digestion, and I had to get on the bike before that. And today's schedule is packed, as always. This morning, 50 kilometers on the bike, followed by a 3,000 meter swim. I'll work all afternoon, then after work I'll run 15 kilometers, and while dinner cooks I'll do my core routine, and after the kids are asleep, my 1 hour stretching session. Let's do it. So, is training really just a matter of having time? Let's be honest, time is never just given. You have to put it from the 168 hours in a week. You can't wait for free moments to appear. If that's your plan, I already know you're not training much. I want to be clear on something. I think training a lot requires being kind of heroic. To train a lot, you must act differently from what most people do. I mean, there's a list. You can run before dawn or very early. I once coached a girl who was waiting for the gym to open at 6 o'clock every morning. And I'm amazed by a male carrier I know who uploads his 5:30 a.m. jogs on Strava. You can run late at night when others are asleep. I was once, when studying at university, often doing that. You can skip lunch at work or not sit down 3 times a day to eat. Without it, I couldn't do it right now. You can commute by running. For many reasons, that is not an option for me, at least not right now, but I know many runners that do so. Sizing moments for training while others stay passive. My favorite one is the soccer practices or games of my son. While all parents are sitting there taking a drink, I'm always the only one running laps around the soccer field or stretching on the grass. But whatever means you find to pull that time and train a lot, at least one thing is required. As a Senegalese proverb says, at least according to the book on the top of my toilet shelf, those who want to leave at dawn must decide the night before. So you must decide in advance. You must plan your day before it begins. You have to decide, without any run negotiation, what session happens when. And then think about your equipment, your bags, your transportation, and so on. I see it like a puzzle. Not an hassle, a puzzle. You have pieces. You shouldn't figure out which one goes where as you go. You really need to analyze the pieces and know where each one will fit when the day begins. And here the main pitfalls, one many people fall into, is get lost in the planning to the point of becoming the organizer of your own organization. Because yes, it means constantly thinking about your schedule, but just remember to keep the focus on the training itself. For example, I don't give much attention to how I will keep the water cold in my bottle, or if I will change in my car instead of the locker room. Keep the focus on the training itself. Is it about physical capacity? I don't think so. At least I've never met an athlete who with careful progression couldn't handle heavy training. Limits exist, of course, but our ability to push them is astonishing. That said, you should not train 20 hours a week if your body is currently used to 5. You have to build gradually, brick by brick. At 15 years of age, 5 hours per week was probably it was my max. I guess more will have been possible, but jumping straight to 20 hours without preparation will not have been reasonable, even if I was recovering so fast as a young teenager. There's a need for careful load management. Well, if you don't like injuries. You can't run much without following a training plan that takes into account mechanical stress. Dosing effort matters. So when the session calls for slow jogging, jog slow. And if you train a lot because your leg will get very trashed, you will need to sometimes jog very, very, very slow. I'm so much an advocate of this that if you want my kudos on Strava, your run must be at least 10 kilometers and no faster than your truly easy pace. Did I just reveal something? And yes, I should add, you must stop treating ordinary pain like injury. That's so important, it will require a whole video. Maybe I'll do one later, one day. It's just that I'm annoyed by all those discussions about running that turn into talks about everyone's past or current injuries. Your body can handle a lot if you prepare it carefully. Now, is it about motivation or discipline? Maybe. I don't like the word motivation because it comes, it goes, comes back, leaves again. It's kind of fleeting. I think what really matters is a sense of obligation. You need to see your training sessions as obligations. Things that if you don't do them, well, it will make you feel worse than doing them half-heartedly. I feel proud after a good session, of course, but it's often more useful for me to feel bad or a little guilty if I skip one, even if that training session will have been only average. My point is that motivation will never be consistent over time. At least you will fall deep inside the wells at times. But then a sense of obligation will carry you on forever. I came to believe that to have a sense of obligation, a devouring ambition is essential. You really need a deep reason to run, something bigger than a harmless personal goal. I remember Chamel Rouge, the 1500 meters runner, telling how he was only truly running for God. I don't know if it's true, and it will not mean anything to me, but you get the point. He had a profound reason to run. Without it, you'll never train a lot, or at least not for very long. And some may think they don't have the ambition that makes running a lot, that makes running obsessive, passionate, addictive, choose your word. And it's possible and it's fine. But please, if that's you, stop saying, those who train more than me are crazy, it's better to stay balanced, blah blah blah. That's bad faith, come on. Look at yourself in the mirror and honestly admit that you simply don't have the drive or the mental strength required to train more. Don't tell me I'm a freak because I'm just better at something than you are. Stop saying it's because you don't have the time. Stop saying it's because it's physically impossible. Instead, admit the hard truth. You simply don't have the exceptional drive and mental strength that allows those who do to find the time and push the body to its true limit. It's much easier to call others freaks or excessive than to admit your own lack of mental strength. But I will not presume you're not mentally strong enough. Without any proof of the opposite, I will believe in you. But how can you balance it with family or professional life? Professionally, I'm a philosophy teacher. It gives me flexibility over my work schedule. But it's not by chance. Even as a student, I chose jobs that allows me to compete on weekends. Later, I chose a career path that supported training. Again, time isn't given. You take it. And sometimes, if any other heroic action work in allowing you to have enough time to train with a very, very busy professional schedule, well, I don't know. At that point, I will personally consider, I guess, finding another job. That will be very heroic. You know, if you go to an African training camp, that may be the first thing you will realize. Running is a lifestyle you can choose over many things we do in our wealthy Occidental societies. I will never call it doing sacrifices. If your job matters so much that you only train with it allows, then you'll never maximize your full potential. That's it. And that's fine too. Just admit it and don't call crazy the more serious athlete out there. Managing training a lot with personal relationships is trickier. I hesitated and a lot to make this video because I'm currently going through a separation after 27 years with my partner. I can say why, because I live in a place on earth and time where we don't marry much. And I was afraid knowing that some might say, you can say whatever you want about training a lot, but since your relationship ended because of it, but that would be wrong, you know? Think that I've trained for 35 years, and if training had been the cause of the breakup, our relationship will have ended long ago. I can't honestly say it didn't contribute, but it was not the sole or main cause of it. But for sure, training a lot complicates relationships. Again, it requires some heroism to minimize the impact on your partner. In my case, it helped that training was already a part of the deal when the relationship started. But I had to constantly organize my day to make my training as invisible as possible. For example, 15 years ago, it meant running only in singles instead of doubles. Then I daily ran 25 to 30 kilometers per day in one shot instead of two. In the last few years, I had to jam all my training between the time kids left to school and came back from it. Now I understand the difficulty of the situation when someone is in a long-term relationship and suddenly commits to serious training. A small increase in the training hours can inspire admiration, but as training progresses and takes more time, conflict arises if the other person doesn't follow the change or adopt the lifestyle. Honestly, I think only a few relationships, maybe 3 situations, make training a lot possible. One, you have a partner who just doesn't care, but accept it. That was my situation. She never asked if a workout or a race went well. It may have been frustrating at times, but I came to accept that running was my thing. I was allowed to do it, even if not supported, but more importantly, not prevented. Two, you have a partner who becomes your number one fan. It's rare, but I've seen it. They don't train yet. They keep the scrapbooks of achievements, cook while anticipating your needs, show up at competitions, talk to everyone, get involved. Three, you have a partner who's an athlete. Whether in the same sport or a different one, but she or he knows from experience what serious training is all about. He or she knows what it requires, so he can accept and understand the reality of demanding practice and maybe share your lifestyle and some fun on the road. But if you're in none of these situations, then the heroism becomes more extreme. As I said, training at dawn, running to work, running at lunch, doing almost unbelievable things so your training fits invisibly into family life. But it's possible. And if that's you, I'd love to know how you do it. Please write it down in the comments below. And also, sincerely, I'd like to know what now seems like your biggest limiting factor for training more, and what are you doing or willing to do about it? Thanks for listening, and have a great morning, day, and or night of running.